All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to unpack a real-world high-tech heist story that's literally unfolding right under our noses. Forget about the ski masks and getaway cars you see in the movies. Today's bank robbers, they are armed with spoofed peripherals and smartphones, and they're targeting a machine that you and I probably use all the time. So why are they doing it? Well, it's pretty simple. Think about how much cash sits inside an ATM. Give or take the money going out for everyday transactions, malicious actors can steal an absolute fortune from just one single machine. We're talking up to $56,000 a month sitting right there inside a single ATM. That makes it the ultimate target. And honestly, it's not just about the lost cash either. The hit to a financial institution's reputation and customer loyalty, massive. To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of this vulnerability, consider this. The average ATM gets used about 300 times a month. In the US alone, we are looking at over 10 billion ATM transactions every single year. 10 billion. That means a huge portion of the population is interacting with these machines day in and day out, while they are actively being targeted. So here's our blueprint for today. 1. The ultimate cash target. 2. Inside the ATM machine. 3. Bypassing security with black boxes. 4. The invisibility of rogue devices. And 5. The digital twin solution. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The ultimate cash target.
When you look at an ATM, it's essentially a centralized hub. You've got the card reader that decodes your bank card, the cash dispenser that actually hands out the physical bills, and the network equipment that talks to the processing center. And here's the kicker. All of these devices connect right back to one central ATM computer. And believe it or not, that computer is usually just running a standard or embedded version of Windows.
Part 2. Inside the ATM machine.
Okay, let's look inside. An ATM is basically made up of two main sections, the cabinet and the safe. Inside the safe, that's where you find the cash dispenser and the cash acceptance module. And as you'd probably guess, the safe is heavily armored, though, spoiler alert, it's still not totally impenetrable. But what about the cabinet? That's the top part housing the ATM's computer and its fragile internal network. The crazy thing here is that the cabinet is virtually unprotected. Attackers know this, it's an open secret, and their skills have completely evolved to exploit this exact physical weakness. Part 3. Bypassing security with black boxes. Now, this brings us to the core of how these modern heists work. We really need to understand what a black box attack is, and exactly how it bypasses security. Essentially, perpetrators physically bypass the ATM's main computer entirely, replacing it with their own specific hardware. This device, the black box, acts like a master key. It directly establishes communications with the cash dispenser, completely blinding the bank's security software. Think about that for a second. The hacker doesn't need your stolen PIN, and they don't need a transaction authorization from a bank. They are talking straight to the vault. Let's walk through how this actually goes down in real life. Step 1. The attacker exploits that weak outer cabinet we just talked about to get physical access to the machine's guts. Step 2. They attach their spoofed peripheral, the black box. Step 3. This completely short-circuits the normal logic, bypassing any need for the bank to authorize a transaction. And step 4. This is the wild part. They can just trigger the cash payout remotely. A guy standing nearby can use a smartphone via Bluetooth or a cellular modem to literally just tell the machine, hey, start spitting out cash. And it does. Part 4. The invisibility of rogue devices. I want you to pause and really think about this for a second. How on earth are attackers ripping into cabinets, plugging in foreign hardware, connecting Bluetooth devices, and walking away with tens of thousands of dollars without setting off every alarm bell in the bank's security software? No way, right? Well, to answer that, we have to look at the three main shapes these rogue attacks take. First, you've got ATM-specific malware, stuff like Cutlet Maker or Plautus D, which gets triggered by keyboards or cell phones plugged into the machine. Then you have the specific hardware we just broke down, the black box. And finally, because physical access is actually getting a little harder these days, attackers are increasingly using external network implants, like modified off-the-shelf cellular routers. But here's the real issue. Regardless of which method they choose, they all share one devastating trick that makes them totally invisible. They bypass security because they operate purely on the physical layer. It's like an invisibility cloak. They act in a transparent mode, meaning they don't have a layer 2 or a MAC address. And a MAC address is basically a device's digital fingerprint on a network. Because they lack this fingerprint, standard network access control or intrusion detection systems, which are out there looking for software anomalies, they just can't see them.
It is a massive, massive blind spot for security teams.
Part 5. The Digital Twin Solution. As the source material shows us, enterprise IT and security teams are really struggling with this. When you have a complex environment filled with standard IT, IoT, and operational technology devices, blind spots are just naturally going to happen. And attackers love these blind spots. They exploit them using things like USB human interface device emulators, basically faking out the computer. To stop these physical layer attacks, you absolutely need comprehensive visibility into your hardware assets, no matter how they connect. And this is where a technology called a cyber digital twin comes into play, like the one from Hackbook. They tackle the physical layer head-on. The system identifies all the connected peripherals by pulling their unique device descriptors, and it creates a digital replica, a twin. It then checks them against known malicious devices, but it takes it a step further using machine learning to watch how the device actually behaves. So, if a rogue device plugs in and says, "Hey, don't worry, I'm just a harmless mouse," but the machine learning sees it acting exactly like a keyboard typing out malicious commands, boom, the system flags it and blocks it instantly. Nothing slips by unmanaged.
So, this kind of defensive system gives you 3 major benefits. Number 1, complete visibility of all hardware assets. By catching anomalies right there on the physical layer, you completely eliminate that massive blind spot. Number 2, full control through predefined policies. IT admins can set strict rules, and the best part is you don't even need to start with a perfectly clean environment to get it up and running. And number 3, rogue device mitigation. The absolute second a threat like a black box is discovered, the system automatically shuts down the attack, integrating seamlessly with whatever security platforms you're already using. It's a real game changer for the dynamic of the heist. And that brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. As hackers continue to pivot away from traditional software exploits and move directly onto the physical layer, you've got to ask yourself, is your enterprise truly monitoring every single connected device? Realizing the gap between software security and physical hardware vulnerability is step 1 in making sure you aren't the next target. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.